We all love good horror, these short stories and scary real experiences. So it's not only entertaining, it's also good for you. Terrifying stories. Don't hurt anyone, but certainly it'll make your heart rush. These stories. Chilling. So much so that it will make your hair. It's on its end. Fetch you 2 workers. Oh, God. You are. All right. And it's 4 stories with you. First story. It means saying masla, it's long. Grill. And the second story is medium. The next 2 stories are small. But honesty is a very terrifying story. God willing stories. The Nahard admires you. And if you have any new stories, weather stories got you. Actually, I got an amusement for your company or for your relatives or anyone you know. Write them in communes, whether on MSLA YouTube videos. Communes means I'm the video down on YouTube. You write me in. Communes are in any need of them. Willa. You know what's been on the front foot. Get ready to tell you. First follower story. Terrifying. Say the first story in principle. God is dear and God is true. Dialogue with me. I am my name. Ahmed from Al Fayoum, from the area of Dive. My uncle had a creek factory. In a small country, he followed Fayoum with a member. Her name is Kabi. Friendly small village. Almost on the Cairo Desert Road. The important incense factory is the ward in the next round. Amberda. It's a very large area. So much so that we workers' factory and management office. We used a quarter of the factory area. PS, and of course the light in the part that it has the job. Plus, the factory. His whole surroundings are broken. Plus violin. The factory is in an agricultural area. Agriculture was surrounded by the plant. From Trends Hills direction. The fourth had cemeteries. And between us, among the cemeteries, is a small street and a pasture. Small. The clock was dead. It was in 1 month, 1 year, 2 years. 22. Means from a year soon. It was the nature of the work piece that incense remains from non-fragrance. And there's somebody left. He dips incense into it. Fragrance oil. Musilla musk or stick. Means after almost at Tani Beacon Day. Incense detect and drink oil. Let's start. We like it in bags, cans and pizzazz. The problem was that the plunge process. You need to be at night. Ophthalmic oil. With incense in the sun they were. Do they interact with sun and wind by flying? Relatively. Alation is an easy task. It was one, but the one who did it who I am. The minimum was perfect. And pretty ordinary. We started a house. At the factory, I'm 4 or 5 people and he was one of them brothers. Important, I'm not afraid of gin or goblets. It's sure, of course, insured with them. It's important for us for as long as possible. We stay a week at the factory from something else. We walk from it. Imagine the rest of a youth group. You stay at the place. Jumbeck cemeteries. It is all the trends of the second implant and base. Plus, the whole whales are broken. And the factory is tilts with slam. Literally a stray eyeliner. Important start us. A very ordinary house and no problems. Next gap day and next gap day. And hacksaw. Somewhat Jenna at a healthy time. About an hour after dawn on. Sibling's voice as he tells us a limit. Beer. A pit means a room pit. The office we slept in. Of course we got through and we said it could be Harami. Our light and everyone Musk. Detector mobile factory all wood. It's got a limit. Of course we fanned on. Brothers, we came back. Schwa. We met our brothers, Tanny said. We have an open door to the office room. He came in and he's with us my time. Of course we left him and slept Tanny. Today. Except me and Salvation. And in Tanny the same day. Talked to my brothers with a member. Plus grill. New additions. 2 men's costume. The sound of a blowing limit in the barrels. The Saj. I imagine my old age. And hacksaw. All stories by Did. We caught it and we kept leaving it. We disturb him and work in him dumps. And once every one of us started. Feels weird needs and starts to show. Who are my brothers? But we were. By freezing each other's heart. And today, I am after me. With a member. Important was a group of girls. Our workers are at the factory. Pimhwa at 5 o'clock Morocco. Complete. There was a girl who was chilly. Her bust and need at a moment away from people. Means in part in the factory. We're not using it. Somewhat once. She entered her need to walk. And she's a soul. We heard her screaming. Very loud and tender. The first one. We got into it. It was lost salvation. Consciousness and fainting. Important dialogue. It's starting to be repeated with her once. Lahad. What they answered her Sheikh. Of course, Sheikh. Contact the genie who was her lover. And the jinn told him I was her lover. I'm a Muslim. The Sheikh replied to it and said, he has you one in the factory. Individual. The genie told him the girl. More better. We're a clan. The word is all who were standing. He heard it, and God is the one that happened. Of course. Sheik is destined to treat it. The youth group are heroes who stay in factory. And I'm the only one who's natural. Turn on me to walk the last one. It was hours to come with my brothers. Hours. It takes a second limit. Busy bone watches. By myself. Jet at one time. All walked and my son alone. And I stand by diving incense into one in. The water from the space of the important atmosphere was so cold, and the oil was a chiller. More. And I'm all my illusions. For the right transportation. Once. One after Kellogg of incense. Of oil, and not in light pieces. Oil filtered a PTAD about Peaky Hills. What do you do? Ah. What satisfied frankness, a sip kilo. Incense from Eddie on what slips. In the oil Tani Wahid exerted. I found about a minute's violin. To some extent I heard a lot of sounds in Danny and Katir. And walked the understanding of what sounds D. After. Almost heard in a remote part of the factory atmosphere. A little girl's voice screams stubbornly. Voice. Buy a ho dog on it. And the sound is a costume. The dog has attacked her and cut her off his tooth. Reaction that I nailed in my place. I don't know what to do. But literally I'm not chef, and there's no need. I was a rigid eyelid. Preference. Shouting is a grill. After silence. The sounds are gone. Then along. The sound of infectious brown steps from a foreigner. Cattle in the office room. Her door was locked at the time. It's important, I'm a business. I focus on sound. And Mesh Arif do a job. I got a voice. Steps reached the door limit and voice. The doors like it opened. Her watch decided. Wasp kilo incense in oil water. Flash mobile and enter the office. See the sound and reveal it. And indeed. That's what happened. Norte flash. And I said. Ovation of the office. And the workers I say. Main. There's a luck limit to bird. And I listened on the oven of the office. The door is locked. And I'm already what I heard. The sound of the door is locked. I heard his voice. Beetroot BS. And of course, I went into an OV. The office and the one that came in. There I got the sounds I didn't. It's understandable Tani worked. P.S. the time. I'm not close to Danny. Time D. She was out everywhere in the factory. Not in the office. I decided to take factory keys and locks and get out of it fast. I went down under the factory. Like a buster on a very terrifying mansion. The first one I called was my father. So I told him what happened to me. He responded nervously to me. He told me not to know. The factory is haunted. Arif, come on. The graves are on your own. Walk from the area of my time. And what is refreshing and not quietly in. The factory is on your own. I told him here. Come on, told me that the jinn was done. You have it all. Because they were destitute. Walk from the factory. If I had preferred more than I was sure you wore. Of course I went and worked buzz and factory. Stop Tani Day because the rest of the incense is not. Take a dip and take a jazz. It's really me. What did you know? What did it happen? Me if you prefer and insist on the fullest. Turn on. But thank God it's jet on. Almost. And then here I came up with the story. The first. And get ready to tell you the story after that. Saying the owner of the second story Muhammad Ali from Sudan and the dis story. You got me 5 years ago. Then I was stuck a taxi. And as usual every day. Dawn in the mosque. See my livelihood. But the day after. Evening prayer Yani call from number. Weird pink. I met him, Rajal, and handed over to me. In my name. He told me sorry for the nuisance, Muhammad. But I have a walk. Necessary 2 hours before dawn. I asked him. I don't know you. Ali. With a little laugh, and he told me, Uncle, you. Taxi works. And sure, you expect anyone. With your number. The important thing, told me Shavo. Mohammed. I live in the neighborhood. After you. Come to me before dawn. 2 hours. It has the foot of the station house. Filipino. And I'm Bastanak with me. My little family. We have a marriage. Becoming in the Filipino region. And we need to look at Badra for a contract. The pairing. I told him to go, Uncle. We agreed. Locked the line, and I felt myself irritated. My heart is unacceptable. But what? Bali is on the topic. And I shook up. Alarm clock 2 hours before dawn. And text. And I actually got healthy on the alarm. I prepared myself and I spent 2 prayers. Dawn is food. I moved on the site. What the man described me. And I did. Old man with 1-6. With 2 children. Their young ages. About 4 years old and older. Almost years mean. I threw at them. Peace, but there is no point in restoring peace. They opened Arabic and threw themselves. And I was surprised, but I said normal. They are sleepy and helpless. They complete their sleep on the way. Of course. The man rode with me foot. And I moved on. By my farmer's way and painful because it's short. And I'm walking my way. Weird sulfur in the car. Of course. Originally, I don't even speak. Who told me he was on the farmer's way? P.S. After what I felt myself upset by. Wind sprinkled air freshener on. Adaptation. But, Brittany, what I did. Suddenly Dis started screaming and saying no. No, we almost choked. I said. They may be allergic to perfumes. And along I locked the air conditioner. I opened the buzzing. And I felt like they were rest and gift. And the length of the road. My heart is grasped. And I'm worried that silence is in control. Even what fish? Kid cough and no sneeze. Important in text. The lightning road is suddenly the leg. He pronounced and told me to get off the asphalt. Right. And I was surprised because didn't. Farmer and Silver. Go on if I get right. 1,000 farms. So I told him. Uncle, you look like a sleepy luck. We are. Not in the text of the road with farms. Iowa told me I knew my way. Get right, Muhammad. I clashed with the. And I complained that people were gang states. And destitute people get me. But I thought. Kids and 6 with us. She ruled it out. And I said in. My psyche can be a shortcut. And I don't know. And I ate and came down. From asphalt with guess. And I'm a stick. The iron cork is under Beatty's chair. To be ready for any danger. I preferred Maki. Amidst quietly stray farms. Suddenly, I glimpsed my feet from a far light. And I was wiped out. In Bali, it's a village light. Far away and I didn't know her. Important everything closer to me light. More. Suddenly I glimpsed from afar the quantity. People with children and harem. They danced in the middle of the lights. And I heard all of a sudden the voice of the family laughing with me. Voice. The laughter is very scary. Thulch. Dogs and I salvated my body with a cold and I knew. I'm in the middle of Tanny's world. But they're swimming. God. Jet the chair in my tongue. And I started reading it without feeling. In a watchful voice. Suddenly he started screaming from the family I have. DST break. I'm hard and I'm hard at it. Indeed. Eddie on the ceiling light to weaken them. More. But I bumped into what I had. The car is silver. Kanye Jet Road. It's all on my own. And Jet's eyes on. The party was healed by Manzur Ma fish human beings. Put up with it. Healed workers animals dancing. 2 powerful light transformers. Dogs, cats, and donkeys. They danced in the light. And I felt that The car doors opened on their own. I stayed together, but suddenly God blessed me. Hear the dawn in my phone. My heart relieved the grill. The party was destroyed. The puppet is a strange silence and a farmer. All the way back to my car, who I got back from, for asphalt. But no matter what the stomach of gasoline is, asphalt, I preferred my walks about 2 hours some with the morning light started. Look out. Finally, I got to the asphalt. With the first thing I came down from the asphalt is what? Meskich, except for 5 minutes. I got to the party venue. I came down from my car and I prayed dawn. And I commended our Lord. He spared me the misfortune that was. You got me D. Lola any chair. The balance of dawn is what I know. He could have gotten me. And then here. The second story was concluded. And get ready to tell you the next story. Tell the next story. Abdul Hafiz 4 and 2 years of Algeria. State of tired. Terrifying story. You got with me. I had my boyfriend Baskin in an old house. And the house is adopted. The French colonial days of Algeria. According to my friend's grandmother's accounts of what they were. By digging the foundations of the house past. Flowers for Algerian People Day. Tamani Yameo against colonialism. French. Who shot them? Near the place. He hid. Algerians inside the foundation pits. They run away from the army's bullets. French. But the French killed them. The earth was imbued with the blood of the martyrs. Immaculate. After us, the house stayed. You get weird and terrifying situations. Some would face a day in the summer and you. My friend Bara and I walk in. Late at night. He asked me to. Aji Abad has him at home. By virtue of. My house is a roast feast. We Aritni agreed. What I agreed? It was summer. What? Thou shalt sprinkle the air of the house from the heat. We fell asleep on the roof. Because the atmosphere. On the roof it was beautiful. The moon was completed. You appreciate everything you don't know. What you need is light fondness. I grew ordinary. After an hour, not an hour, and a healthy text. Children's voice with their marginalization. Originally kids. Why is jet? What you can do. My body was paralyzed. Inequity. My boyfriend's alien name. Jet salute. Kadrash, speak. I looked at my leg. The hills of children I met Jane to me. One missed on my right and the second on. North and Central walk from above me. They stood at my birth. And they wanted me to illusion. They laughed. Eyes and eggs. and radiating the uniform of the moon. It's a horror cutter. I passed out. Healthy after Shuwa jet. Move with a paralyzed member. Foreign name. The owners of Naim. What you can do. And here I healed something very strange. Giant. Too long. And his head is not in. The poison of the length cutter. His body is working. Palm wood and coarse stone costume. It's brown. Thin and big legs. Who wears a heartwarming costume. Goblets in cartoons. Face moves a step, but his step is. He stayed under his legs. Here I said to myself. Today I'm dead. But why did he drop? His man Ali was light and what he felt. Despite his enormity. He completed his steps and after. About me. I came back again. After. A healthy period with a paralyzed member. But I appreciated. I speak in a faint voice. I listen to my owner. Who sleeps and I preferred to call him Omar. But my voice was pretty faint. Villages. The destitute and something started moving inside. My intestines. But I said something in my mind. Ordinary. My intestines moved digestively. Eating. So much so that I felt and was in it. Fleeing inside my stomach. Finish at all. And when I started to read any. The chair briefed the thing from my intestines about. Zuri Road. Those who prefer are expanding. It's a little bit too big for my mouth to open up. Superhuman. Open fold. The ability to open it. And it sticks to my mouth. And a complacent walk comes out. What can you read? The Quran because it blocked my mouth. She came back to me. Ability I move a grill. Moved. Eddie to see it from my mouth. But. Here was the shock. Eddie turned. Completely. She stayed very short in it. Base finger hills and large size. And one finger is the size of 2 fingerprints. And I felt my skin. Frog. It has a strange gel. And sticky. And what can you do? Get the thing out. The one who stayed with my mouth. Somewhat back. My abdominal atmosphere is again. I got into the snooze for a while. And I appreciated it. It's deep. And I knew move. Healthy. My friend and I told him I'm a house fan. He told me like what happened. I told him a real tell you. But I don't. You can complete the night. It was the rest. Checks on the dawn. And I came out. And I went to my house. And I'm the workers of the. He got. Is it a dream? But in a dream, I don't. Things would be realistic for D. Outfit details of where you were. And the color of the clothes you were wearing. And even the color of the mattress that was underneath. and my friend's features and where he slept. It's from. Today, I have a bold discussion. I've got Tanny. And then here. She concluded the following story. And get ready to tell you the fourth story. And the latter. Fourth story, I'm telling it. An idea before a hard time in the stories that are. The little ones are the videos. Little shorts. Who are the videos that were on YouTube, which remains below. Minute. It means I'm the story. Her story is abbreviated. But once I told you in detail. What's important is what I'm doing to you. Telling the fourth story. Peace be upon you and the mercy of God. I am a pamphlet from the Sudan. I have a story about Jane got real in our house. We are a very robust house. The story started from a time ago. Grandpa and grandmother. What you are present. Their time. Just as long as I'm dealing with the jinn because of it. The story started in. My grandfather's day has mercy on him. From the mail. The answer was written. I'll come to your house in a day. XA. It was written today and date. With greetings from Abbas. Grandpa Makanch knows anyone by name. Not even. The whole family is a person whose name is Abbas. My grandfather surprised Mendy and J. Lay. The answer is not a mistake. Because there's an answer in my grandfather's name. Important past. The days were my grandfather, Munzer Abbas. Uji Alshan knows Min Abbas Dha. Ah. And the day it was. Specific history in answer series from. Becoming favored anonymous guest anonymous. Uji. Unfortunately, Zarish has no face. Any limit to my grandfather. Some would face the text of the night. My grandfather was in the beasts of the big house. A bed in which a person sleeps and a violin. And my grandfather stayed saying that. I'm sleeping here, but what he shower on. My grandfather. Rest close to the bed. But he found out the bed was silver. And what? Fee houch no one slept on him. My grandfather was. I'm sure it's really scarce. Bed. My grandfather is afraid. Tall on my grandmother. And he kept telling her. The one who heals. And then the day of dying stayed. Flowering needs not already present in. The house disappears. Some would blossom. My grandfather in a dream is a stranger and told him. I'm Abbas. I live with you. My family. You are safe from me and from me. I'm safe from you. And indeed, they lived with some integral family. And when I found it, the job stood with him. Bide's feeling depends on his pocket. He enters. Hands in the pocket meet floss cutter. 20. In the Qatar times he was Abbas and his family. Bezerua at home in the shape of a people. Home. What's important is my grandfather. I'm dead. And my grandmother's violin. And our lessons. The house is with Abbas, come on. To end. Today they are the best around of us and with their attention. And by dealing with them, we were one family. Really weird. We're even for what? Bezerra blossomed us out of them. And somewhat habitually we get used to the situation. DH. And the story Dahana lived it up to. Al-Hiza. It's too bad, people who have come out. Terrifying stories about us. Lord. Stories are your wonder. And what to forget. If the stories like you do, like. And a video signal from all your counties. From all social media sites. And God somewhat gives me a word. A sweet story like a follower's story. God willing to show you goodness. Good time. In a new episode. And new stories and tell you with safety.